Hi, and welcome to the Tenant File Property Management Software program. Today we're going to talk about the main menu of the Tenant File. That consists of these buttons across the top, and it consists of menu selections that will drop down when you click on them. The first four buttons, Owners, Properties, Units, and Tenants, take you to the same Activities screen. When you click on the Owners button, for instance, you'll see a list of all the owners, properties, units, and tenants on the left-hand side. Also, there are tabs at the top where you can switch to a property or a unit or a tenant. For instance, if I click on this first one, this is the owner. You'll see the red check mark next to the owner name. If I click on the property, you'll see the property, and this particular property has 3 rental units: cabin 1, cabin 2, and cabin 3. And these are the tenants that are in those cabins. So you can also change it by clicking a tab at the top. The next button is the Properties button. Takes you to the same screen, however it's alphabetical by the property name. Same thing with the Units and the Tenants button. The Reports button takes you to the screen where you can choose reports. The report type will determine which type of report you're running, whether they're owner reports, property, unit, or tenant reports, vendor reports, check and deposit reports, account reports, general reports, or just a list of all the reports available. There are options on this screen that can be saved by clicking on the Save Settings for this report button. The Vendors button will take you to the list of vendors that you've set up. You can have an unlimited number of vendors in the tenant file, and you can set up payments to those vendors so that you can automatically create checks to your vendors. Next is the Checks/Deposits button. This is where you'll be writing checks through the program. Whether you're entering a check or a deposit is determined by what you click under Display. Next is the Register button, which takes you to the check register. This is all of the checks and deposits that you've entered in the program, and you can display those between any two dates. This is also where you would reconcile to your bank statement. The next button is the Pay Owners button, where it will pull up all the owners and it will have a column which will determine how much you owe the owner at the present time, and you are able to edit that column, and you can click a button to create the checks to your owners. Next is the Post Rent button, and in the Post Rent button you can charge the rents to your tenants, or you can choose to post rent income for your tenants. The next button is your Reminders button. You can set reminders to show all of the to-do reminders and all the event reminders. The to-do reminders are things that you've set where there's an action date in the future. You want to be reminded to take a certain action. Also, you can show tenant balances due, leases expired, money due to your owners, and money due from your owners. Lastly, on the buttons, this is the Backups button. You can make a backup of your data at any time. Plus, you can set automatic backups to be made. It'll remind you once a week, once every 2 weeks, or once a month, or if you don't want it to remind you at all, you can choose that. Above the buttons are also choices where there are more items that you can choose from. The buttons are also covered in these as well. There's database maintenance under the file menu and other options. Under activities, you can choose the same 4 choices that you have with the buttons, plus you can go into the Checks Deposits button. There's easy setup, and you can get into your vendors as well. There's different report selections. We already looked at the standard reports, which is the same thing as the button that's on your screen, but there's also a user-defined report that you can choose. Under posting, you have a lot of options, where you can post CAM charges, and you can post recurring fields and some of the special rent charges. There's an inactive file, which is where you can move your tenants to once you don't manage, once the tenant moves out, so that you keep a record of your old tenants. Miscellaneous has quite a few choices, including closing out the year. Preferences are just the way you want things to look and behave within the program. And then there's an extensive help file where you can go to our web support page. You can access the full user's guide, which is a PDF, and there's a quick start guide that comes with the program, and there's information about the version that you're running. So that's a quick rundown of what you have on the main menu, and we'll get into each of these in more detail in other videos. Thanks for watching.